Hello, 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 everyone. It's your main man, Darren M. Palmer, Chief Book Officer with Self Publishing 30 Days. Excited to be with you for another episode of Market Leader Live. Hey, you know what we do on this show. We come up with those tangible steps, the things that you need to know to make your next move your best move, where we play chess, not checkers. So, on today's episode, growth at all costs. Growth at all costs. I think we need to dig into that a little bit today, especially while this is getting close to the end at the time of this recording of July 2020. So we've been hit with quite a bit of things, but the key to it is growth at all costs. So a few of the pointers that I want to come up with for is growth in several areas. But today I'm going to just limit the growth areas, and so you can focus on the growth areas that you need to, and we will be able to go from there. So you want to have growth when it comes to your impact. Growth, repeat after me, growth compared to your impact. Growth compared to your impact. Now, what do I mean by that? The more you grow your impact, you've heard me share this before, the more you will grow in revenue and the more you will grow your income. So put a priority on growth at all costs at making a positive impact. Let me digress before I progress a little bit. Make sure that you are focused on making a positive impact. So what do I mean by that? I heard a podcast with Andy Frisella, not the newest one he did. It was the other one that he had, the MF CEO. And he talked about what allowed for them to be able to grow the brand that they have at I think it's First Form. But they went and did things. They had growth at all costs. And it wasn't just with Andy Frisella and those who were just in leadership, from the people that were on the floor to the people who drove forklifts, because they had a sense of ownership. They had a sense of we're making a difference. So if it was somebody needing assistance moving, they would hop up, get a truck and help somebody move. They need to know where, auto body shop at a collision. They assisted people in so many ways. It was amazing. So you have to understand when it comes to who I'm going to invest with, even though for those who are familiar with First Form and what it does for you, for those in health or whatnot, and the branding that they do, it's amazing. But they have loyal consumers, they have loyal customers because of that relationship, because they grow at all costs. It's growth at all costs. And so also I want you to understand the growth at all costs, not just with impact, but also look at growth with your team. So before you're able to have that impact, you got to have a team that's willing to grow. Before you have that impact, you got to make sure that you're pouring into your team to make sure that you're welcoming leaders, that you're creating an environment that you can have a core group of people that understand that this is where we're going. We're heading straight ahead. We're here to make a positive impact. You got to make sure when you're looking at hiring, you got to look at when you look at those, so you can have low retention, that you're hiring people who have a higher calling, and however you want to take that. So if it's just about you, if it's just someone working for you, that's not going to work. It has to have where you have a goal, but within that goal, you got also many goals, what I like to call it, where you have individual goals and you have collective goals. And so when you have everybody lining up and their individual goals are aligning with the collective goal of accomplishing a positive impact, now all of a sudden you have flow. All of a sudden you have that dangerous thing that starts with an M called momentum. And that, my friend, will allow for you to be able to scale with speed, like my man Judge Graham talks about. So growth at all costs. I've covered first, a positive impact. You got to have a growth at all costs mindset for a positive impact, because the positive impact will lead to you being able to have profits or whatnot and income. Then we looked at growth at all costs when it comes to pouring in your team and making sure that people aren't just a number, that they actually are cared for, that they love, and that you're all are working together. Or if not, that might work best. It might work best for that person or you to be in another area or not work together or not even be hired at all, because you won't allow for people to be great at what they can be great at. Also, let's look at this too as well. When we look at this, the growth component, you have to understand, no matter if you're having growth at all costs with the customers that you're serving, the team that you're serving, but you must serve yourself and have growth at all costs when it comes to you. Yes, you. When it comes to growth at all costs, John Maxwell calls it the law of the lead. Your organization, you or nobody else, if you call yourself in leadership, it will not be able to grow past that leader of that organization, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a profit, whether it's a for-profit. You have to understand you have to invest in the growth at all costs of you. If you're not willing to grow, if you have a ceiling, then you don't have a growth culture. So the overall purpose of this particular show today is growth at all costs. But I showed you what you want to do as an organization for your customers, what you want to do as an organization for your team members. But also I'm dealing with you in leadership, market leaders. Do not get in a place where you acquiesce. Don't get in a place where you settle. Don't get in a place where you think to yourself that I'm just good where I am. I have enough degrees. I've been in business long enough. I've had enough storms. Continue to grow. The Darren Palmer that started back in the day is not the same Darren Palmer that you see here today. The Darren Palmer today is a different Darren Palmer than what you seen yesterday. You have to continue to grow at all costs. And that is in season and out of season, because when you can't make the impact that you want to make if you're staying the same you. Now, I don't mean getting rid of your morals and things like that. I'm not talking about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I know I felt that in my spirit that somebody was going to go crazy right then and come up with the wrong thing that I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about growth in areas of your life. So if I'm impacting and serving people differently, I'm able to make a positive impact. But if I'm still where I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, my children are going to need a different type of father for this season that they're in compared to the last season that they're in. My wife is going to need a different type of husband compared to where I was in one season compared to this season. The local church, my organization, the things that we do in business, our clients, the type of clients I have are different than what I had in one season compared to this season. So if you're looking at being a market leader, you have to have growth at all costs. I hope this was a blessing to you. I just wanted to get in with those 3 points. Growth at all costs. If you're going to be a market leader, you have to fall in love with growth at all costs. If you won't change, be the change. Until next time, be blessed and be great.